Greetings, everyone. I'm Dr. Derek Robinson, and this is a short thought piece on a title called The NCAA Solution: Teacher Shortages in Your Schools. This talk actually comes from a larger professional development titled Strategies for Preparing and Supporting Equity-Based Responsive Instruction. And what I want to talk to you about today is kind of a sports analogy to help frame and understand the differences between the NCAA and teacher recruitment in America. So with that said, let's go ahead and just jump into it. So I have a quick story I want to share with you. Now, let's suppose that somewhere along the line there is a 6'8" eighth grader. Now, if there's a 6'8" athletic eighth grader, we can almost with certainty tell you what's going to happen. Nick Saban is going to be in his living room. Coach K or whatever NCAA basketball coach will be in that particular child's living room. And why are they there? They are there to start building a relationship, to start grooming this student, that if they stay on the right path, they can guarantee them a spot on the team, which will change the trajectory of their lives and their parents' lives. They not only build a relationship with that particular student, they actually go and build a relationship with that student's parent, the coach, the counselors, and everyone involved, so that they understand that this talent, if groomed correctly, could actually propel them to the next level of their lives. Now, when you think about the NCAA model of recruitment, you start to think, what's the difference and why can't we do that for teachers? You probably didn't think that, but imagine if NCAA basketball coaches and scouts decided, let's just wait until everyone graduates. And once everyone graduates, we'll hold a fair. And that fair will be to actually get recruited on basketball teams. We'll just wait. That doesn't happen. And here's the reason why that doesn't happen. Talent must be groomed. Talent must be shown that there's a way out of this and there's a prosperous future involved. And my thinking is that is exactly what our school principals and school district leaders do all the time. We wait until the end of a graduation of college, and then we try to hold a fair to invite a future teacher to pick from any of the schools available at this fair's table, and that they may come there and actually teach. Now, here's the problem with that. Most future teachers have the internet, so they do their homework and they know where they want to go ideally. They want to go back to a place like the one that they grew up in. So if they came from a very small rural area, they want to go back to that rural area. The problem is everyone from that small area thinks like that, and the people who are already there do not leave. So there are slim pickings for positions there. Now, if they can't have that, they would like to go to some place that mirrors what feels like that place that they ideally want to go. So the second thing in line would be perhaps an outer ring suburban school with high test scores. So what they do is they do their homework and they have a list of those schools. And they have a list of schools they will never go to. And those schools are schools they've heard are problem schools, schools where they believe students do not come to learn. And they have these pathologies of dysfunction at these particular schools. So they have a list of no-goes and a list of to-goes. Here's the problem. Everyone thinks like that. So you go to this job fair and there's a line around the corner to get into those highly touted schools where everyone's done their homework and said, this is the school that I want to go to. The problem is those schools have very low turnover. So a lot of people are not going to get those positions. So at the end of the day, when a person realizes I need a job, they see on the down corner that one table that no one's came to yet, and there's two people down there, the principal and assistant principal. So they make their way down there and they sign up to go to a school that was actually on their list to never go to. And the reason why it was on their list to never go to was because they thought this school contained students who A, can't learn or did not want to learn. Now, the one thing I know for certain is that if a teacher believes that a student cannot learn, they will not waste their time planning and preparing high quality instruction for students to learn. So part of this is going to be what they believe. How can we change that? My suggestion is that we adopt the NCAA model for recruiting teachers. And this happened in a conversation I've had recently with a teacher, and also I've had in the past with teachers as I taught them at universities and principals as well. So I'm working with a group of principals, and they're complaining about not being able to find high quality teachers at these job fairs. And I stopped them because we're in the basement of this school education building. I say, 2 floors up, we actually create teachers. We groom teachers. Have you a relationship with any of those professors to find out who's on the cusp, who's coming up, what talents do you have, what promise do you see in some of these future teachers? And of course, no one raised their hand because they don't even know any of the professors upstairs. Have you built a relationship with anybody coming out soon? Or are you just waiting at the job fair for them to come and find you? So there's a measure of proactivity that has to be done. So what I'm suggesting is that school principals, district leaders, school assistant principals, and maybe even teachers join in the recruiting process by building relationships with the universities nearby that have produced some of the teachers that are currently in this building. To actually go to these university professors and ask them who's coming up, who is showing promise right now, and begin that process of grooming future teachers. Now, adopting this model, the same way that the NCAA adopts that model for recruiting football players, basketball players, star track athletes, wrestlers, and the like, has 3 main benefits. The first benefit for the principal is that you're actually grooming future teachers. While the university teaches them the technical aspects of teaching and instruction, you can actually partner to show the real life experience of teaching and being in a school culture. What you can also do is offer that particular teacher or future teacher early exposure to school culture. They may be scared to come to a particular school because they just don't have the knowledge of the culture at that school. But giving them early exposure to it can actually dispel some of the myths and actually calm some of the dispositions, because you may have a supportive environment that they could finally thrive in. You could also worry that there may not be enough talent at universities. Well, there are not enough 4.240 running athletes. There are not a lot of 6'8", 275-pound point guards. But there's some, and you can find them if you're looking. The third part of this is that it also builds relationships with university professors that actually produce the teachers that you seek to recruit and bring to your schools. So having them as a relationship to know your school, they know what fits in your school, and then they can begin to identify students who will be perfect fits for the school that you are and the culture that you have. And therefore the matches are better. But that's only found out if the relationship is there and we begin the process of proactively recruiting and grooming future teachers. If you wait until the job fair, you only get who shows up and you don't know what you're getting. So rather than that, take a few years to actually groom future teachers, and do it now while not everyone's thinking about this, so that you can begin to start perfecting the model of NCAA recruitment in your teacher recruiting efforts. Now, this is part of a larger professional development where we go deep dive into actually identifying the schools, identifying your culture, identifying universities in your district, and actually beginning the conversations, how to engage in the conversations and networking partnerships with your local universities that is reciprocal which means you bring as well as you receive. But this is a great model to start with if you're talking about actually filling the building with high capacity teachers that you've had an opportunity to develop a relationship with. And that's great for the leadership team to do, and also for future leaders to learn this method and style of university partnerships with school districts and schools. It is not always going to be optimal for you to wait until it's teacher fair day to figure out who's in the field and what you could possibly have. Sometimes you have to be proactive and own this. Once again, I'm Dr. Derek Robinson of My Advantage and My Advantage Professional Development. You can find me on the internet. You see many of our links below, but I look forward to working with you. I'm available for face-to-face and virtual professional developments. Please contact me. You can schedule a moment for consultation, and then we can move from there. I have plenty of information to give and some thoughtful solution-based activities and thinking points for you to move forward with improving school culture and instruction within your building. Thank you.